Good morning. My hair's a little fluffy, but I don't care because I got to sleep in this morning. I finished my training yesterday and I don't have to go back today. I finished. I mean, I do have to go into work today and do like a test or two, which is perfectly fine because I need my hours. But I don't have to go back to South Ogden. I got to sleep today. Oh, it's like, what is it now? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. That's two more hours in bed that I got. Oh my gosh. I never get 2 more hours in bed. Okay. Enough of the celebrating. Let's get into it. We're going to start with a daily reflection on the New Testament. Today is the 20th. Friday the 20th. Okay. Yes? Yes. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. Romans chapter 8, verses 16 through 17. All human beings, male and female, are created in the image of God. Each is a beloved spirit, son or daughter of heavenly parents, and as such, each has a divine nature and destiny. Like a loving parent, our Father in heaven wants for us all that he has. President Joseph Fielding Smith wrote, "Those who receive exaltation in the celestial kingdom are promised the fullness thereof. Man has within him the power which the Father has bestowed upon him, so to develop in truth, faith, wisdom, and all the virtues, that eventually he shall become like the Father and the Son, possessing the same attributes in their perfection." Okay, so today is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, so it's the end of 1 Thessalonians, and this was he's wrapping up his letter to them, so he's saying farewell, things like that. It was really good in terms of one-liners, because, for instance, verse 16, rejoice evermore. Verse 17, pray without ceasing. Verse 19, quench not the spirit. Verse 20, despise not prophesying. 21, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. 22, abstain from all appearance of evil. I could have chose like verses 8 to 23. That could have been my personal statement. Every one of those was such a good one, but the one I chose for today was 16, rejoice evermore. I think that's just as important as some of the other doctrines of faith, is to be happy, to rejoice in the blessings of my training. I was so blessed to have this training. Yesterday, during the training, the owner came in and she's like, "Haley, do you feel like you're learning anything from this training or being one-on-one with a GM and the owner?" And I'm like, the training is helpful, but as we go through the training, I have questions, and then Tasha explains it to me in a way that I like it. The one-on-one training with her was invaluable. Invaluable. Had I had that mindset going into it, I wouldn't have been as stressed. I wouldn't have been. What a blessing. And then not only that, but what a blessing to be done early. To sleep in. To now be able to go into my store and implement all the things that I learned and have a staff meeting with my staff and be like, listen, here's how we're going to do things now. I've got all these ideas of how to be, not only just like, when I was writing in my journal, I wrote it something like this. How did I say it? I don't know, but it's like, instead of just managing the day-to-day work of the store, I can now manage the center effectively to help it grow. I didn't write that in my journal, but that's kind of the concept, is I now have the tools to see it succeed I can now be a good manager for a very long time instead of being like stressed constantly. Anyways, blessings, rejoice. So my statement for today is rejoice and be happy. I will rejoice and be happy because it's over. But, I mean, I had to drag myself to get to work yesterday. Rejoice, be happy in the gospel. Okay, we'll get into the verse by verse. What is it, 5? It is 5. All right, for verses 1 through 11, Paul continues to discuss on the second coming, exhorting the people to be ready for it and emphasizing that salvation is in Christ. Whether we wake or sleep is a play on words harking back to the idea of being asleep in Christ, that is, awaiting the resurrection while in the spirit world. Paul reminds the saints that they already know that the day of the Lord soon cometh as a thief in the night, meaning that it will happen unexpectedly for some people when they are unprepared spiritually. The phrase day of the Lord goes back to Amos 5:18. In Old Testament times, the day of the Lord was regarded as a time when God would come and intervene with judgment, instituting blessings or condemnation. The Joseph Smith translation of Luke 12:44 confirms that Jesus himself was author of the expression as a thief in the night. This translation also indicates that Jesus told much more about his own second coming than various versions of the New Testament disclose. Paul probably quoted several of the lost teachings of Jesus as part of his own exhortation, just as we saw in 1 Thessalonians 4:15. For verses 12 through 26, Paul lists some ways the saints can prepare their lives for the second coming, love church leaders, and live together in peace, support the weak, pray constantly, and avoid even the appearance of evil. Much of the same counsel is repeated in latter-day Revelation. All right. I will leave you with a prayer from a diary of prayer. And today is the 20th. And this one is Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom then shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom then shall I be afraid? For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his tabernacle. Yea, in the secret place of his dwelling shall he hide me, and set me up upon a rock of stone. I should utterly have fainted, but that I believe verily, to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. O tarry thou the Lord's leisure, be strong, and he shall comfort thine heart. And put thou thy trust in the Lord. All right. That was 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and tomorrow we do 2 Thessalonians chapters 1 and 2. We will see you then. Bye.